The students began marching. They walked to the administration building. You can see behind me, they are still marching right now. They've actually been marching for over an hour and a half. It's been quite the scene here. And it wasn't just small trees that fell down. I mean, look how massive this tree root is right here. The fact that the ice was just so heavy to bring it down is incredible. Despite this cold weather, all of these nurses are out here. They are demanding higher wages and more staffing. Wildland firefighters, in hand with these drones, have the ability to save more lives, communities, and taxpayer dollars. Another effort that they're making towards more transparency is this 24/7 live stream.
Do you doubt our U.S. intelligence at this time due to this attack?
I have no detailed, specific information.
Before Uvalde, before Parkland, and even before Columbine, there was the shooting here at Thurston High School.
3 groups of female motorists from Eugene are here, and this year's motto, just ride.
The Mackenzie River community knows the importance of firefighters all too well. Multiple homes in this community burned down during the devastating 2020 holiday farm fire. And this right here is some remnants of one of those homes that burned down. So right now, my thermometer is reading at roughly 50 degrees. So that would put your body into shock and inhibit you from swimming as you usually would. It's officially time to spring forward by 1 hour this weekend for the beginning of daylight savings time. But many in Oregon oppose a time change. For now, they're welcoming all of this weather and enjoying the fun slopes. The whole aim of this movement is to redraw these state lines to better match their political views.
They're literally skiing down the road.
Yeah, a lot faster than walking.
Well,
so
let's see how you do this. And he's off.
Even though buildings like this post office here and housing were abandoned, Richard says that the most prominent mines were not. One of those mines is the Evening Star Champion, and it belongs to Hunter.
Get in touch with your inner lime. What does that mean?
Well, as we all know, the lime really is near.
At the Oregon Country Fair, I'm Juliette Smith. The Lane County Youth Detention Center paused the majority of strip searches, also known as comprehensive searches, 2 weeks ago. This happened after a number of juvenile attorneys like Karen Stenard brought forth what she says has become an issue.
I remain deeply concerned about the lack of transparency, even to this day, around why this started happening, when it started happening.
The comprehensive search has been the guideline for some time.
And now the detention center is making big changes.
They wanted us to re-examine what we're doing.
According to a 2019 policy, strip searches can only be enacted under probable cause during intake and maneuvering around the building after a court or attorney visit. For example, the juveniles will enter through this door and then they'll come into this room where they will meet with one of their lawyers, and then after that they will exit this room and then come back over here into a more private room where they might receive one of those comprehensive searches. The county says safety is the priority.
They've often also faced really incredible challenges that most of us don't in our lifetime, and they're victims as well. And that creates, an opportunity and a likelihood that they may attempt to harm themselves or others.
With items such as glass and nails.
Why did it take a while to move to a pat-down search? If nobody had brought this concern to your attention, do you think you still would have made that change?
By and large, our standard procedure would have been probably continued to be the one.
This is overly intrusive. It's not needed to keep detention safe. Some occasions involved people putting their hands inside of kids' bodies.
Very different from what the county says.
The person never removes their undergarments. They take one item off at a time, so there's no physical touching involved.
Promising change, the county purchased this scanner this past November. They estimate that it'll be operational by May. In the meantime, pat-down searches will be performed as necessary.
I don't think this is a situation where there were a couple rogue staff people doing things. I think this is a departmental failure.
The county says no one at the center has been reprimanded for enacting strip searches. Reporting in Eugene, I'm Juliette Smith.
You ready to do this? Yeah. Me too.
91-year-old John Finney is finally checking off skydiving from his bucket list. It's something he has always wanted to do since he was in the Air Force during the Korean War. Finney served for 5 years, flying high in the sky and dropping cargo out of planes. He wasn't afraid to fly then, and he sure isn't afraid to fly now.
I'm not nervous about it. I'm just ready to jump.
He says some of his loved ones were a little hesitant to watch him freefall, but that's exactly what he's most excited for.
Some of them told me I was crazy.
That's crazy that he wanted to go.
But he sure isn't worried. He's feeling pretty strong and fearless. So why is he choosing to do this now? Finney's wife passed away last year, and he has just recovered from a bad case of COVID. He realized it was now or never.
Would you like to go with me?
No thanks.
No thanks.
His children, grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, and members of his retirement community all came out to support him. His son says he wasn't too surprised his dad was finally ready to take the leap.
He's just a guy that enjoys life, never too old to do any of this.
Fenny says it warms his heart to see his loved ones come out to support him. The fearless 91-year-old is now finally living out his dream.
This guy's a maniac up there. I didn't know how wild he was.
Getting out of the plane was a little trouble, but...
Yeah, there's something about that door being opened up right there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Are you going to do it again?
I'd do it again anytime.
He says everyone should do it.
Especially if they're 91.
So what's next for the most adventurous 91-year-old in Eugene?
I'm going to do it again at 95.
All right.
And he's hoping his family will join him. After all, you can't let the fear of falling keep you from flying.
Take me skydiving.
That was good.
All right, let's go again someday.
Reporting in Eugene, I'm Juliette Smith.
It's sort of sad because, like I said, I've always had this special place in my heart for Oregon.
Grammy-nominated Jewish reggae musician Matisyahu came to Bend in his late teens for a rehab program. And now he's back in Oregon on tour. Since the October 7th Hamas attack on Israel and subsequent war in Gaza, several of his tour stops have been protested and some even canceled.
The opposition somehow triggers something inside of me. And I feel that it's when I maybe shine the most. You know, I'm not the type of person to back down.
Facebook and Twitter posts show a call to boycott the singer in Portland. His name and tour date, once on the Aladdin Theater banner, vandalized and removed.
I'm here because, as many people, I've been witnessing the absolute savagery at the hands of the IDF.
So the headliner is a Zionist who's organized rallies in the past. And is using the Jews.
The vision is love and peace and people coming together. Right now, there is no peace for the Palestinians. When you have a regime that comes in and gives no rights to its people, it uses its own people as human shields and hides its weapons in babies' cribs and underneath hospitals, and the barbarians on October 7th that came in and baked babies in ovens and raped women in front of their children. I mean, this is what you're dealing with.
Matisyahu says the boycotts stem from his visit with IDF soldiers on the front lines.
Felt like it was very special. It was just like spirits just jumping out. And they gave me the Golani flag, and I wear that now.
There were a lot of peaceful activists and a lot of... The goal of the protest was to cancel the show, but this didn't happen.
Do you think that music has the power to unite people?
Yes, definitely.
And have you listened to any of his music?
No, because it's bad.
But you haven't listened to it. So if you think that music has the power to unite people, do you think that there's a chance that that could happen tonight?
No.
May we live in peace with our Palestinian brothers and sisters.
If you could speak directly to the people that are boycotting you right now, what would you say to them?
I'll come give you a ticket.
Have any of your songs about hope for peace with Palestinians resonated with activists solely supporting Palestinian statehood?
Over the years, yeah, you'll see Jews and Muslims with their arms around each other singing Jerusalem.
Matisyahu honors those taken hostage at the Nova Music Festival after visiting the site.
I mean, that's like my worst nightmare, and that actually happened.
Posters of their faces and other hostages taped on an empty seat.
There can't be peace when that is going on. When you have a group of people where their charter is the elimination, not only of Israel, but of the Jewish people.
Two sides of an over 70-year conflict calling for peace, but no song could bring common ground at the Aladdin Theater. In Portland, I'm Juliette Smith reporting. Moran Ibrahimi is a third-grade student at Cesar Chavez Elementary School. At At just 8 years old, he already speaks 5 languages.
I speak Spanish, Portuguese, English, and Farsi and Uzbek.
Ibrahimi has picked up 3 of those languages along his journey since he left his home in Afghanistan, seeking refuge in the United States. He remembers the day Afghanistan fell to the Taliban 2 years ago.
I was walking in the street when I saw my friend. I said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Run." I said, "What happened?" And he just held my friend's hand and says, "Taliban is here."
The 8-year-old hasn't spoken to his friend since that day, when the U.S. withdrew all forces from Afghanistan. At the time, Toran was just 6 years old.
Coming to United States, it was so hard. You have to go to, it was 10 countries.
Ibrahimi and his family traveled to Iran, Brazil, and then trekked the treacherous Darien Gap before arriving in Oregon.
And sometimes we didn't have something to eat. It was so hard.
Despite the sadness he feels for his country and the people he's left behind, he loves his new home in Oregon. The best part, he says, is going to school.
This school is just not your friends. You're going to not a house with your not a family.
You learn from your students almost as much as they learn from you,
including a perspective most of the other students don't have. Ibrahimi loves books and is the classroom librarian.
Do not know plants. And you can say, "Hey, we grow," because we read book and we grow.
He has big plans to go to college and already knows what he wants to do.
I want to be an astronaut.
In Eugene, I'm Juliette Smith reporting. For the first time in history, Iran has launched drones and missiles at Israel from its own soil. A heartbreaking story out of Washington state where 3 babies overdosed on fentanyl in the span of just 5 days.